Once again, welcome to the Writers Clinic. Coming to you from Kahawa Sukari Estate, Kahawa Sukari Avenue, 1335. Today we are going to talk about the habits of highly effective writers. First, I want to say that I do not believe in the often expressed view that self-help books and inspirational books are useless. Let me admit today that I consume them rapaciously. Of course, I'm aware that some of them are shallow and pedantic, but I know how to detect those that are hopeless. That is why I want to tell you that if you are an aspiring writer and you have not read Stephen Covey's famous book entitled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, then you are missing something that may put you on the path to success. Stephen Covey makes fundamental statements about life and how he thinks life should be lived. However, for a writer, you can draw significant lessons from these broad principles. If you are not making any progress towards completing your manuscript, successfully that is, then I suggest that you turn to Stephen Covey's treatise. He advances a theory of success that stipulates that as an individual, you have to operate from well-defined principles to be effective. The habits he talks about are basic and represent the principles upon which enduring happiness and success are based. These habits are good to the writer as they are to any other person interested in success in any endeavor. The person who internalizes these habits goes through what Stephen Covey calls a paradigm shift. Covey borrows the term paradigm shift from Thomas Hahn, and Thomas Hahn came up with this statement in his landmark book entitled The Structure of Scientific Revolution. In this book, Hahn argues that almost every significant breakthrough in the field of scientific endeavor is first a break with tradition and with old ways of thinking. Covey argues that when you change your paradigm, you acquire first and foremost the habit of being proactive. For a writer, being proactive means more than merely taking initiative. It means that you take charge of your own life. With this, your behavior has to be a function of your decisions, not your conditions. You can no longer blame someone or circumstances for not finishing your writing project. From this principle, an aspiring writer should learn to be enterprising and make things happen. If you set aside 3 hours for writing every day, then there can be no excuse for not doing just that. Covey makes another very fundamental statement. He says that highly proactive people do not blame circumstances and conditions or conditioning for their behavior. Their behavior is a product of their conscious choices based on values rather than a product of their conditions based on feelings. So as a writer, you have to know that success is as a result of the sacrifices you make. You have to learn to keep your circle of influence. As a writer, you have to connect with those in the industry and keep them close. Covey argues that one has to also imbibe the principle of personal leadership. To acquire this habit, one has to begin with the end in mind. As a writer, you have to visualize yourself launching that book if writing is what matters to you. You must have a clear understanding of your destination. Covey advises on the need to exercise independent will. This involves practicing what he calls effective self-management. This is the ability to make decisions and choices and to act in accordance with the choices that you make. It is the ability to act rather than be acted upon. In the final analysis, you are simply being asked to organize and execute around your priorities. The challenge here is not for a writer to manage time, but to manage himself or herself. Effective people, according to Covey, are not problem-minded, but opportunity-minded. They feed opportunities and starve problems. Smart people cultivate the ability to say no to things that are not urgent or important. They also believe in self-renewal in all dimensions, including physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Just try and reflect on these ideas as an aspiring writer. Are you proactive? Do you operate from well-defined principles? Are you committed to your calling? Do you keep your promises to editors? If your answer is yes, then your flight is on the runway. This brings us to the end of today's episode, in which we looked at the habits of highly effective writers. Join us again next time when we bring you another episode right from here, Kahawa Sukari Estate, Kahawa Sukari Avenue 1335.